Hi, welcome back to JoAnna's Community Corner. We again would like to thank Natalie, our SWAYS director, for coming on and talking all about dementia and the dementia umbrella and different types of dementia, because a lot of people didn't realize that there was actually different types of dementia and how they fall underneath this umbrella. And she also talked about different parts of the brain and how they're affected and how they work. So we are really excited that Natalie has agreed to come on at least once a month and talk about some of these brain issues and give everybody a little more insight. I believe Natalie's next topic is going to be on guilt. So that should be a really good one, because I'm sorry if you are a child of a parent, you have guilt when it comes to making these types of decisions for your family and if you're doing the right thing. So please know you're not alone, and guilt is really part of the process. So, don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. The Lantern was happy that we opened our hugging booth. Oh, that was something nice to see. We actually made a hugging booth where there's a stand, plexiglass in between, it's totally safe, armholes, and then they have these plastic gloves that they put on. It's a whole setup to do. But family members are able to hug family members again. And it's really kind of special to see. We took some pictures, but it really doesn't do it justice. A lot of the family members were in tears, and it really provided a lot of comfort for our families. They were able to get face to face up against that plexiglass, give each other a kiss through that plexiglass, and it made everybody feel really good. So those are now starting. So, if your family member wanted to participate in that and you hadn't heard about it yet, please call and schedule a time, because you have to schedule it. You have to come and schedule it, and we'll get you in, because it's really something nice to see. Our beauty salon is now open, which, oh gosh, our poor residents, we did the best we could on quarantine, but they were really happy to have the beauty salon back open again and to really make themselves look their very, very best. We'd also want to mention there's an organization here in town that's in need of a little help right now. It's called Feed the Vets. It's right here in Ashtabula. It helps feed veterans, and it helps give veterans different types of assistance and advice, things like that. They're trying to raise some monetary donations, trying to purchase the building that they were in. And I know our county of Ashtabula is there for our veterans, and I know that people are going to come through, and I know that the building is going to be saved. And as it is with any organization in Ashtabula County, all of them are really struggling. Donations are down, especially monetary donations are down. Those fundraisers that they would do during the year aren't happening. So, that was a lot of their operational costs. So, if you can give. Makes the heart feel good when you give. So today we're going to talk about what to talk to your parents about. And this is a pretty broad topic, but it has to do more with, you're going into your family's home, and, you're starting to see a decline, but you're not really sure. You start seeing the mail piling up, food's not getting eaten. Things are just not looking as tidy as they used to. Parents aren't doing what they used to. Sometimes it's, like the scruffy face or the hair's not washed. It's probably time for you to get maybe a little bit involved. Find out what's going on. Hey, mom and dad, you're looking a little scruffy, in a joking way. You don't want to embarrass them. But it could be as simple as, my arthritis is killing me and I can't get my arms up to wash my hair, or I'm afraid of falling in the shower. Things like that. And those are things that you could do at home, you could put, grab bars up. You could have a home health aide come in, um, and that might be enough. Um, but the conversation needs to start early on. You don't want to wait until things have gotten terrible and all of a sudden now you're scrambling, because scrambling always brings guilt because you're not thinking things through, you're rushing, and you're feeling like you're not making that best decision for your parents. So, the couple of topics I wanted to talk about. Um, you might want to start with utilizing the 211 number. 211 is here in Ashtabula County. You just pick up the phone, dial 211, and then you can just say, my senior's having issues with, what organizations are there. There's Meals on Wheels, there's all kinds of organizations, places that can come and help do small repairs around their houses, find medical equipment, things like that. 211 is what you're going to want to start with because that's going to give you the organizations, they'll put you in touch with them, and that will get you started. You almost want to always try the ACCOA, which is known as the Senior Center. The Senior Center is closed, but you can leave a message and they will get back to you. And they also have quite a bit of information for our seniors. They offer shopping now because of the COVID, different items that they have that a lot of people don't know about. So you need to utilize that 211, you need to utilize your senior centers, and you can get that information and they can get you started in the right direction. So, just start. Don't put it off. Don't say, well, I got to, just start doing something to try to get yourself in that right direction. Some topics you might want to talk to your mom and dad about are, the durable power of attorney. You need one for medical. You also need one for banking, things like that. Your parents don't have to tell you who it is, as long as they have one. Usually it's the oldest child. That's usually the person who, that's who it was in my family. It was my sister. That's usually the person who the parents usually tend to go to. Whoever it is it's fine as long as they have someone that they trust, and have that paperwork in order. You want to make sure that you have that. Their end of the life wishes. Now, what I want for my end of the life wishes is not something my children would probably pick. So you want to make sure that you have that conversation. You're going to want to ask about, hey, mom and dad, have you thought about pre-planning your funerals? You get that expenses out of the way. It's actually cheaper doing it that way. You can save quite a bit of money like that. But ask them if they want a funeral mass. Are they Catholic? Do they want a Catholic mass? Do they want cremated? You have to find out what they really want. Do they want to be buried? Most people are very specific on what they would like to have done to them. So, do they have a funeral director that they want to go to? You bet they do. Don't assume that whoever you pick is fine. Most older seniors have someone picked out. Heck, I have someone picked out. So, have that little bit of a conversation with them. What they want. How would they want it? What do you want? Do you want calling hours? What do they want? That's very important because when it comes to that time at the end, you'll know what they want. And by knowing what they want, away goes that guilt, in comes the peace, and you can say with a clear heart, this is what they wanted. Because you want to give your parents, of course, what they wanted. So something else we want to talk about is, do they have long-term care insurance? Now, this is pretty important when they go into nursing homes, assisted livings, that can really deduct the cost of those facilities, which of course everyone knows are extremely expensive. So find out, who's your insurance agent? What types of insurance do you have? Do you have life insurance? You would be shocked at the people who do not have life insurance or any type of insurance in case something happens. Funerals are extremely expensive. I urge everyone, even if it's the smallest of policies, to carry insurance. We have a lot of reputable insurance agents in town who would just love to help our community and set somebody up with either a long-term care policy or an insurance policy. You need to have a living will or trust. Wills are extremely important these days. We went through with my parents. They had a lawyer. They did that right. They went to see the lawyer. This is what we want. This is how we want to do it. Okay, that's great. Except it never got filed. And if it doesn't get filed, then it's not really valid. So we ended up having to go to probate, pay the attorney again, and it was a very small estate. And your parents were trying to do the right thing, but by not doing that final step of getting it filed, which I did not know at the time, and neither did any of my family members, and of course now we know that if it's not filed, it's not really valid. So you want to make sure that you get that filed up in Jefferson, and you have a copy, and you know where the copies are. You want to have everything for them in a box. Hey, mom and dad, where's your box? Is how our family did it. And they had copies of everything in there: birth certificates, marriage license, military documents, house deeds, wills, living with anything that they thought was of importance was in the box. So we all knew the box was where everything was. They kept everything together. Make sure your family members keep everything together, because for them it's, oh well, this is in this drawer and this is in that drawer, but you don't want to have to go looking for everything and then you miss something, and it can really cost the estate a lot of money. So you want to make sure that you have that. You want to make sure that you have an attorney. Please don't try to do it alone, because you really need an attorney, even on the smallest of estates, to make sure that everything is filed correctly. We talked about documents. We want to talk about financial advisors. Do they have a financial advisor? Who are they? Where are they? That you don't need to know how much they have in there, unless it comes down to their care or anything like that. But just a generalized information of, hey, this is my financial advisor. He's got my tax returns. He's got my paperwork. He's got this. He's got that. That's all you really need to know for that, because you don't want to get too, you don't want to make your parents feel uncomfortable, and you don't want to be overly zealous in trying to get this information from them. This is a process. It's going to take some time. These are not conversations you have in one shot. This is a conversation that you have over several sessions of talking. A lot of parents don't want to talk about it. It's hard for them to talk about it. Nobody wants to think about the end of life or moving on to the next stage of life, but it's a fact of life. So try to have these conversations, keep them open, keep them kind of funny. I mean, humor goes a long way in just about everything in life. So keep it on the lighter side. If they start getting agitated, or just drop it for a while, come back to it. You certainly don't want to upset them, but at the same time, you need to protect them. You need to protect your family's assets. Have they thought about where they want to go if more care is needed? Now, this is something that needs to start early. You don't want to be in a situation where they're in the hospital, they have to be placed somewhere, and you haven't even looked at a facility yet. A lot of seniors end up at some point in time in a assisted living, nursing home, memory care unit. Your parents, might want to just go and take a look. Just go look on some websites even to get a generalized idea of what's out there and what the cost is, because the cost varies dramatically by location, by services that are offered, and it's really something that you don't want to be surprised by. Here at the Lantern, we offer assisted living and memory care. Along with the assisted living, we have in-house therapy and an in-house doctor, nurses on staff. You need to ask all those questions like what do they actually offer? Beauty salon. We have a little pub. We have a library. You need to kind of get a general gist of what they have and if it's going to fit your family. The Lantern of Saybrook also has a respite program. A lot of people don't realize that if you need to take a little bit of a vacation, which everybody needs a little break if you're a home caregiver, you can do that, and you can bring them to the Lantern and they'll be well taken care of, and they'll probably have a good time while they're here. It's something to think about. You have a special occasion coming up. Sometimes there's those big weddings that you have to travel to. What are we going to do with mom and dad? You can leave them with us. We'll take good care of them, I promise. We have a bounce back program where if your senior is recovering from surgery or just needs a little extra TLC, the Lantern is here for you. We can bring them in. We have in-house therapy. We can nurse them back to health. We can give them that 24-hour care that you could do at home, of course, but it's exhausting. You have your families and your jobs, and it's exhausting. Let us take care of your family member, and they'll bounce back and they'll be ready to go again. So that's something to think about when we're talking about primary doctor. Do you know who their primary doctor is? Their specialist. Do you know who their specialists are? You need to kind of know like all of their doctors. Kind of have a list. This is the doctor for. This is the doctor for. This is the doctor for. And just have that list in mind. So if something happens or you need, you know who to contact. You need to take a look at it's a continuous problem with prescription drugs. A lot of seniors, well, not a lot. Some seniors do really well with their prescription drugs. They're able to put them in the caddies. They're able to take them correctly. They keep them all straight. And that's fine, but a lot of seniors end up having a great deal of difficulty with their prescriptions, especially if there's multiple doctors involved. This doctor's giving me this doctor's giving me that, and then before you know it, they have 15, 20 pills that they're trying to figure out what goes where, and a lot of confusion happens. Prescription drug companies often change the color, the size of the pill, the shape of the pill, and so that adds to the confusion. So if you go over to your parents' house and they have like 15 bottles of prescription pills and they're you really need to sit down with them and say, hey, mom and dad, let me just go through this with you real quick, just so I have an idea of what this is. And in regards to that also, you need to have a medication list. A list of their medications. Now, most times when you go to the hospital, they have your medication list on file, but it's always good to have a list of the medications, the dosage, and what doctor prescribed that. A lot of times, even when I go, like, no, I'm not on that anymore, or no, that's changed too. A lot of that can be very, very confusing for seniors. And it's one of the first things, I think, as a child that you need to kind of take a look at and make sure that they're filling the prescriptions because they're really good at not filling them because they cost money and they don't want to spend the money, or cutting them in half. I mean, we've seen all kinds of things, but you want to make sure that those prescription drugs are correct and the correct dosage and in the correct caddy. I think that's one of your top things that you should do. So these things are always very difficult to talk about, but it's forming a relationship with your parent. And some people have beautiful relationships with their parents. Sometimes people struggle a little bit, but you have to remember that they are your parent, and without them, you wouldn't be here. So you need to take that time and spend it with your parents. Hang out with them, do some stuff with them, make them feel wanted, and talk to them. It's there's nothing like sitting down and hearing those old stories of when they were growing up, because a lot of times when they're gone, those stories are gone too. Um, our family, my husband's family actually, the grandfather always did a toast at every holiday, and especially at Christmas Eve, and they taped them all. And we watched it one year. It was extremely hard to watch, but it's there. And they have some taped conversations of his life, just general, him talking about what life was like when he was younger. Those are really, really special memories to keep. And it's really important to keep that family going, so that you can pass those on to future generations. Next week, I am hoping to have Feed the Vets on. Yay. They're going to talk about, of course, Feed the Vets, and they're also going to talk about some benefits for veterans that some people just don't know about. Just some generalized information about our veterans. So it's good for any veteran or anybody that has a family member that's a veteran, or if you just want to help a veteran, we're going to have some ways for you to do that also. So until then, it is a good afternoon to you and good memories.